Assessor earlier this evening.
And
Oh, we're streaming. He is the reason. I guess I'll talk about it off here. He's the reason I'm redoing my setup, but he's doing really well. It's good to check in on him again. It's been a while. Dance, 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 dance. I haven't worn this hat in a while. It's kind of crooked.
thought you wore one last week.
I've been wearing my Braves hat. This is my Cubs hat, but it's better forward facing this classic one, anyways. I guess I don't. My hair's getting so long. I don't know what to do with it. I'm like, I can't do anything. Like I've been reading this book and trying to train from it, and I'll like read the book and look up at the computer at the same time, and then just have hair all over my eyes. It's like, all right, I have to wear a hat or a headband or something. Tap to load. Yeah, cause yours look dope. Underlay pack of 2.
Yeah, I mean when you pop off that thing, there is like a clear cut indentation for that thing to be.
Oh.
And it bugs me because that decal that I got, it doesn't sit directly in there. It kind of like is up on a little bit on the lip.
It doesn't look like it in the picture.
But yeah, I was like, once it's on there, you can't tell. You just see the color.
Sarsar ate up our screen time. I'm just a window down here. Brent's frozen. Frozen Brent is best Brent. There we go. Cesar's just gigante still.
Oh.
That's what I get with the high quality video camera. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you have a nicer camera than the two of us are using, right?
Most likely.
Brent, what are you using? Your MacBook camera?
Yeah,
it's good.
MacBook camera at the moment.
And it's
really?
Yeah, it's an old MacBook.
Yeah, for like a 2011?
I mean, you're only freezing up, I think, is because you're on Wi-Fi. That's kind of what we've encountered with any sort of streaming or bit rates or anything like that. Sarsar's typing away.
I am. Oh man, I finally got to that point in Attack on Titan. Man, it all makes sense now.
Everything's coming together.
Yeah, you know what? They all live on an island, man. So there's it's like the island of, it's like the island of Britain, and they got like a little tiny island that's to the right of it. So apparently the king, there was like a war with all the Titans. So apparently the original Titan Ymir made a deal with the devil, and the Titans were the Titans were created. And there's 9 special types of Titans. So apparently they ruled over the world. And apparently the rest of humanity fought back and they took it over the world. And I guess the king didn't want to fight back, so he left and isolated and went to an island. And now they persecute all these people who of Elden blood who can control the power of the Titans. Are the only ones who can transform. So that's why they have them wearing like identifications on their arm to show who they are, and they keep them basically in prisons. Just because of their heritage.
So it's like genocide.
Basically. So apparently the rest of the world has matured enough where they have planes and they need the needs of fossil fuels. So apparently one of the last fossil fuel deposits is on that island, so that's why they're trying to go and take it from the Titans. So if they take the King Titan's power, they have the ability to control all Titans. So that's who they're going for. But any time, it's only passed through royal lineage, and the royals can only control it. And the royals, every time they pass the power on, they never want to free themselves because they don't want the world to be at risk. So it's like they always say that, like, I'll free our people once I take the power. And when they take the power, it's like the will of the king, the original king, keeps them from doing it. So they stay behind those walls.
Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It's
pretty damn good.
Time. Oh, we ready to get started? Telling Brand I'm pretty tired. I actually exercised today. I think that's why I'm tired. This is probably the first time I've exercised in at least a year. Like dedicated. My wife got a wild hair that we need a bicycle, so here I am yesterday driving to meet this stranger in an Ingles parking lot for 2 bicycles. Went well. He's a big Eagles fan. He's okay with getting rid of Carson Wentz. He's a big Philadelphia fan. Let me rephrase it. He had a logo for every Philadelphia team on the back of his vehicle.
So did you play Queen as you went and got your bicycle?
Basically. And I took a fat bottom girl with me. No, actually I did. Oh. Richard Bergman trivia. That was my first CD I ever had. Was Queen's Greatest Hits. I bought a Magnavox boombox from Service Merchandise. Brant, are you old enough to remember Service Merchandise? Says I know your ass was in there.
I used to pawn over the Sega 32X and be like, oh, well, I own this one day. And then continue to play Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo on the kiosk.
Yep. Brand, it was like I don't know, they had everything, didn't they, Cesar? They had like patio furniture. I remember getting a card table there years ago. But from what I remember, you had these aisles just with shit. Like, it was just random stuff. And it was like, it wasn't really like department store, not like you remember.
They had like a huge jewelry area as well. I remember that as walking in through. It's like a tiny Macy's, but a little bit more with electronics, bigger with electronics. Right. Yeah, because they had a little bit of everything. It was like one of those things where I would go to church with my parents every Sunday, and we would hit up Service Merchandise on the way home.
Oh. Part of the stop. Olive Garden was over there. Brandon was over where, I don't even know if you remember El Azteca. Do you remember where Outback used to be in Morrow?
Grand Buffet. I used to be near that Grand Buffet. The standing water near the bathrooms. I still remember Grand Buffet.
I've been destroyed in there before. Or shortly thereafter, not directly in there.
Oh.
I remember eating there, and I was like, man, there was just standing water outside the bathrooms. I was like, I'm never coming here again. I never went back ever since, because I was like, that place does not look safe. Is it even there? I seen remnants of something there.
Grand Buffet's there. I ate there with a friend of the show. I guess he is. He's a troubleshooter. I was about to say he works with Brant. I met Brad Bowers up there one time. It was right before COVID, maybe like that December or January. But that was the last time I tapped out on a Chinese buffet. I was like, I cannot eat this. I tried to eat responsibly, and it still fucked me up in more ways than one. I was like, nah, I can't do this.
I mean, it's always no telling what they put in that stuff on there. So
yeah, like I thought it was safe stuff, and it was like, nah. I was in shambles for like 3 or 4 hours. Cesar, you saw our one of our old stomping grounds closed as of this morning, like right off the rip this morning.
Well, the one in Gwinnett Place Mall was always closed. The only one they had left was Duluth.
GPS.
Within the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was trying to get like an NES Classic when those were hot, and I think I ordered one for the Duluth one. I was like, man, I don't want to drive all the way up here to Duluth. And then they sent me the email like, we fucked up. We never had these.
Oh.
And I was like, I'll never buy from Fry's again. I haven't bought them since. And there's your result.
I was about to say, 3 listeners were talking about Fry's. But back in the day before, I guess, I know eBay and Amazon were around, but I guess they weren't as easy to use. But that was where Cesar and I would go to import like PSP and DS games. That was the spot to get that kind of stuff. They had Wii games. Yeah, if I remember right, their Wii games were all like $5 off too. Weren't they like all $44.99? Like day one, you could get a brand new Wii game for $5 off.
Yeah, they had newer deals on the newer games at the time. I don't know. That place was huge in media. I mean, that was only going to go down because remember it was just magazines and CDs and DVDs and most of that stuff's gone digital. So, I mean, the one thing they had going for them was PC components.
PC
they had a lot of it. So, but then you already have Micro Center kind of fitting that niche. So
I bought a Mac Mini
probably
from there
turning more of a
2008. It's like an Intel Core 2 Duo Mac Mini. Brant, any Fry's memories?
No, not really.
Chili cheese fries, curly fries.
Like you said, I bought a mini of a PSP import. From them. I mean, they used to carry a lot of good shit there.
I mean, you got our Bleach DS, that treasure fighting game that was so fucking good. We got that game there. God damn, that was a good game. Bankai. Did that ever get ported or translated? I mean,
yeah,
it came out in English.
Sega handled the license. I think Sony had the license in Japan for.
The game was good as fuck.
for the PlayStation products, and then I think Sega had it for the other, like, because I mean, remember we had Bleach, we had a Bleach that came out for the Wii. I have that one, and then we have I think there's two of them
PSP ones
on the DS. Did we? I don't think we ever got the PSP ones because those were Sony and they never brought them out over here. That's when the PSP was been like very hacked. We got the PS3 one, and that was done by Nifunishi Software,
Resurrection,
which is still, yeah, that one's pretty expensive to find too. Yeah.
I think I have it.
Yeah,
but,
it's up there. Outside of that, I mean, yeah, that's it. I mean, they went on to that studio. They're doing the new season of Bleach. They just announced they're finishing up Black Clover, so which sucks. It makes me sad, but they caught up with the manga and they decided they're not going to do fillers. Was that also
Tite
Kubo? Negative. It's also a Shonen Jump property, but that's the same studio did Bleach has been doing Black Clover in the last couple of years, and now they're going back to Bleach for the final.
Brent, also, like 15 years ago, me and Cesar used to load up and go on manga runs. We would try to find like buy two get one at like Books A Million and shit, and try to flesh out our manga collections. Yeah, we had a Barnes and Noble. That's when I had my discount, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only thing I have like outside my books right now is just my Demon Slayer stuff.
Brand, we had been owned by GameStop for a while, but I went on vacation for a week and we were EB Games, and then I came back and the signs at GameStop and I was like, fuck. They're like, but you get like 40% off at Barnes and Noble now. I was like, okay. And like, no, books might have been like 25 or 30%, but I think the cafe was like 50 or 60% off. The Starbucks in there, like the soda. I shouldn't have been drinking them, but I didn't know at the time. But those Jones sodas and all the pastries and shit like that, smashing there.
I mean, did they sell off GameStop
I saw
before you left?
Last time I looked at the parent companies, yeah, it was. I think it was like 2011 or something like that. It was where they were not connected to them anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I know they sold them off to somebody else.
Because my employee discount worked there for a while after I was not an employee. Y'all ready to get going? Go live? Tired.
Sure.
Yeah.
Biking. I was biking in the neighborhood. It's relaxing. My legs are on fire, though. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 148 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game and, for some reason, anime podcast. Is there another big anime podcast regionally out there?
Unless we fight against Renee for...
oh, no, Renee combines it with his trucking stuff?
Yeah, I know they speak highly about anime. You know, he's bigger in anime and manga than he is in games.
We need to take him out. We have an inside man. You need to eliminate him, sir.
I only dabble in Demon Slayer manga, so I cannot help you. Because at some point, you know me, sir, and I don't want to get off on a tangent. But if I start on manga, then I will have a full room full of manga because it won't stop. It'd be like a fucking
I found
library.
all mine. I just got to clean up some of the pages. It got kind of grungy being in a shed for 10 years or however long it's been. Lots of news tonight. Most of it not anime related, it seems. Brant, I threw one in at the end. Apologies.
Hopefully. That is anime related?
Anthem. EA's big anime property, Anthem. So your news tonight, we have your BlizzCon 2021 highlights. Sony Play at Home initiative, which is always a good thing. Keep your ass at home, keep playing. The unreleased game that became Star Fox Adventures. I've played this. I'll touch on that a little bit. A new way to play Neo Geo Pocket games. What's wrong with the way we've been playing them? New PlayStation VR for PS5. Finally unveiled. Somewhat. Tony Hawk Pro Skater is coming to new platforms. Star Wars Republic Commando coming to new platforms. And Anthem Next is no more. I think they were calling it Anthem Next. I can't remember. I, of course, with the bad memory, and Richard Bergman, joined tonight by Newsmaster Brant McKee. I thought it was
Anthem Next.
Maybe I'm the Newsmaster. Guess who's not the Newsmaster? Cesar Concepcion II, but he's here.
I'm here. I've given up on the news. It seems like completely. At least somebody's done their part.
Oh shit! You carried us for a couple months there. Everybody pitches in their own time. Plus, Brant does such a good job of it. Brant, if you start fucking it up, somebody else might they might screw around and accidentally put the news
nobody's
together.
Nobody's gonna fight you for it. Trust me.
We appreciate you for doing God's work.
Cesar prefers to be the nudes master, but then he just decided clothing is required. No more nudes.
Yeah, you know me, nudity and eroge.
Eroge was last week's theme. Hey, we did have an arc there of no clothing required, so that's kind of a new spin we've put on it.
My coworker heard that and he just said
with
we
the
were dumb, so that was the only yeah.
Okay, did he tell us we were dumb? And did he tell a couple friends about our podcast? That's all we care about.
Probably so. He just told me he's like, y'all dumb. That's what he said.
Listen to these idiots.
Tell at least 2 people and hope they tell 2 people, and then we're okay. We can be as dumb as they want us to be.
It's the erotic visual novels, man. Ever since we brought erotic visual novels, the viewership has gone up 100%. So
our SoundCloud's taken off. They're going to pay for our subscription this year.
That's all they needed. Just put in erotic visual novels or tag in there, and people are like, oh, look, it's another podcast full of culture.
That's not a genre they thought they had to fill on their platform.
I know that most of my visual novels I play are the edited ones because I can't do the erotic ones. None of that makes sense to me. So
it's the Drake meme video game podcast, Arage podcast.
There you go. We're going to be the quarter market. I can't think of anybody who has one. So that means we're all got to play it and hate it.
Ugh.
All right, is this our path to success? Is this where we pivot?
This is our niche.
Is this where we reboot? This is what we become.
It'll be horrible, man. Because you know how
what's horrible will be successful.
That community is very vocal. So if you have, we're like treading an eggshell. So
bring on the feedback. we don't get a lot of feedback.
I can't, man. I can't. I just play regular visual novels. I can't play naughty stuff, man. It's just it don't make sense to me. It just doesn't.
Those are like 90% of what you described as naughty. Go back and listen to that last episode.
Wait, bring out his special edition, the super sexy edition, whatever that.
What
was that?
The Missing Girlfriend.
Actually, stop right now. We're all on a camera. We're all on a computer. Cesar, just show us your mouse pad. All we need to see is your mouse pad.
Sure. Oh boy. Okay, what's the mouse pad?
Wait a minute.
Oh,
we need to see it. We need to see it from the other angle.
No, it's.
Okay, you pass.
Flat as a board and regular.
Let's go, Brant. Brant, show us your mouse pad.
Yeah.
I'm not using a mouse pad.
Whoa.
No. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't have that like I think I followed somebody on like for like anime deals, and they were like, Jay listed put this body pillow, and it's like a $900 body pillow. It's like a monster. It's like a monster girl. I'm like, how many pillows fit in that thing? That thing's like this long. I'm just laughing because it's like somebody's like, you need like 4 full-size pillows to fill this thing. It's like, why is it $900? Who's buying this for $900?
They're gonna make a giant Resident Evil lady out of that one.
Who's bringing people home to this on their bed and be like, watch out, it's a $900 body pillow.
Right, I called Joe out. I have one of the larger style.
The Corsair? Yeah, I mean, we know. Dude, you didn't even know what an erotic visual novel was, so I'm not even going to ask you your question.
You know my mouse pad is safe. We know you have a PG mouse pad.
Brand's over there dying laughing because he knows what I'm talking about. You're over here like, what is that? You're like the old man in the room.
Yeah, but when y'all explained it to me, that was the best bit. Then I could mispronounce it the rest of the episode. Oh shit!
Mispronouncing is part of the fun. That's what I do too.
Yeah. Come here for your games, stay for your naughty visual novels, and potentially.
That's how you know there's a true fan, because the true fan will fight you. Like, no, it's pronounced this way. I'm like, all right, back on here, man. I was like,
there's an accent over the U.
Didn't mean to trample over your pride there.
Your preferred genre of media.
Hey, man, whatever floats your boat, go for it.
It's a staple of anime.
I gotta buy my stuff on a website that's separated from Steam. I'm like, oh god.
Incognito browser on everything.
Oh man.
That secret Steam store.
Yeah, some website where you get everything digital rights media free, and then you do everything through PayPal or Bitcoin or some shit like that. Some way to mask your identity.
Sounds shady as hell.
It's about accurate, probably. So
about accurate.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't know, man.
I've only heard tell of it on the internet.
I don't partake.
It's my only exposure. All right, let's jump straight to news. There was a BlizzCon 2021, an all-digital event. This news comes from The Verge and Andrew Webster. These are your...
The dictionary?
Do what?
The dictionary?
Yeah, Webster's Dictionary. He actually alphabetized the news and gave them articles and nouns and synonyms.
And listed all the terms from BlizzCon in there.
Oh, I'm not sure we want all the BlizzCon terms. BlizzCon A to Z. A for arcade. Actually, B for Blizzard and C for collection. Cesar, what about that Blizzard arcade collection? Give us the ABCs.
Easy. I won't talk about my games played, but I did pay that 2020 cold dollars on that game, and then I fired up Lost Vikings.
All right, there's more to it than that. We know that's your get.
And that was it. I mean, I opened it up. It's like, oh, I can choose from Super Nintendo. I could choose from Genesis, and then some kind of definitive version that combines the two. And then I looked at the other two games in there, and I was like, which I think was Rock and Roll Racing and Blackthorn.
So I saw the two.
And proceeded not to touch those.
I saw the two versions in the trailer, but I didn't know what they were. It's just each port of that game. That's awesome. Kind of like they did with like Aladdin and Lion King and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think they. I know for the Lost Vikings, I know the Super Nintendo one, which is the one I played growing up, and then the Genesis one I never played. I think that was the one they actually added multiplayer up to 3 players, and then they came out with they called the definitive version, which includes like the best of both worlds, and that's new to the collection. So,
how did you play 3 players on Genesis? Did they ever come out with a multi-tap, or was it that weird cartridge thing that I've seen for some games? Remember they made that Pete Sampras Tennis or something that had the built-in cartridge ports on the cartridge, or controller ports.
I got a web browser open here for this reason alone.
Instant fact check.
Google.com multi-tap.
All right, we got A, B, and C out of the way. D, Diablo 4. Still some ways away.
Just floating on there, man. Yeah, there's a multi-tap for the Genesis called the Sega Tap.
Sega Tap. Okay.
Yep. And it's lets you do 4 characters, and it's 4 characters, 4 controllers.
Does that say what games it supports?
It's the Sega Tap in Japan, and it was called Team Player in America. Blue.
I've never heard of that.
It's $24 right now on eBay if you want it. Super cheap, new in box.
New in box. What can we play with it?
Wow.
Besides Pete Sampras Tennis and Lost Vikings.
All right. Multi-tap. Genesis.
No, it's called.
All right, we're already off on our first.
Called the Team Player.
No, I'm not gonna go through all that. I'm seeing pictures of Mega Man: The Wily Wars.
Multiplayer?
This is a great question. I don't know. I don't feel like diving deep in there. I'm going into a website that's telling me the 18 different versions of a multi-tap from the Genesis. It's very historical.
So they must have like licensed it out, kind of like Hudson picked up the Super Nintendo one.
Here's the official Sega multi-tap games. ATP Tour, Barclay Shut Up and Jam, Barclay Shut Up and Jam 2, College Football's National Championship, College Football's National Championship 2, College Slam, which I used to play a lot way back in the day.
3 people?
Just being by myself. Dino and Dina's Soccer, Dragon, the Bruce Lee Story, Fever Pitch Soccer, Head On Soccer, General Chaos, Gauntlet 4, Inchidan R, which is a grid shooter, International Rugby, International Superstar Soccer Deluxe, J-League Pro Striker 2, Pro Striker Perfect Edition, and then Pro Striker Final Stage. Was this like Street Fighter?
No, Pro Striker? They just had iterations of it with new power-ups.
Lost Vikings, Mega Bomberman, Micro Machines 2, Mortal Kombat 3, NBA Action
Mortal
94,
Kombat 3,
NBA
how
Jam.
many people would you get in the... How does that work?
I don't know.
Just pass the controller.
I don't know the Mortal Kombat lore.
It's like a third Mortal Kombat fighter in the middle of the other two, trying to fend off both of them.
I don't know. Was there tag team in that game?
But one person has that Genesis thing where you stand in the middle of the ring. What was that, like the Enforcer or something?
So that one guy just keeps choosing Liu Kang, just keeps doing the damn bicycle kick over and over again. NBA Jam Tournament Edition, NCAA Final Four, NFL 95, Quarterback Club, Olympic Gold, Party Quiz, Pele 2, Pepin Ga Pengo, Sega Sports 1, Slam Dunk, Tent R, Tiny Toon Adventures, Ultimate Soccer, Wimbledon,
Pete Sampras,
World Championship Soccer, World Cup, Worms, WWF Raw, The Greatest Game of All Time, Yu Yu Hakusho, 36 Greatest Holes,
Let's assume golf.
With 2 rounds of golf, 36 greatest holes. All right, NFL quarterback club, NBA GM tournament edition. These are all 32x right here. WWF
I think
Raw.
that 36 great
32X.
holes is 32x, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now that we're on the Sega CD, Dungeon Explorer, Dynamic Country Club, Super League CD, NBA Jam, Gauntlet, NBA Hang Time, Street Racer, Super Skid Marks, weird, Wayne Gretzky, and then the ESPN National Hockey Night. And then there's I'm not gonna go any further because there's a whole bunch of EA multi-tab games.
Oh hell no!
And it's like every iteration on here. But here's the ones This is the one you're talking about. The J Kart multiplayer games, no multi-tab needed. Extra ports on cart.
That's crazy.
Peace San Percentis 96. Micro Machines 2, Micro Machines 96, Micro Machines Military Edition, weird, and then Super Skid Marks.
Again.
Yeah, they're back.
Return
All
of
about
the
that
skid
marks.
Oh shit! So basically, a bunch of sports games, Lost Vikings, Tiny Toons, and Bomberman is what I took from that.
Yeah.
And Mortal Kombat.
NBA Jam's the most important thing out of that whole
And
list.
Yu Hakusho.
Yu Hakusho. Yeah.
for Genesis. All right, moving on to D for Diablo 4. Still some ways away. Blizzard has already said it won't be launching this year, but we got a glimpse of what to expect thanks to a new trailer. Staying on D, I guess D Part 2, Diablo 2 Resurrected. Blizzard also officially unveiled Diablo 2 Resurrected, an HD remaster. It's coming out for PC and console with Switch, PS4, PS5, Series Xbox Series X and S, and will include cross progression between console and PC. Overwatch 2, Blizzard unveiled some new information. There's 2 new maps, weather effects, and redesigned looks for 4 characters I don't know. Brent, you played some Overwatch, right? And wasn't that one of your jams?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. For a good
This
bit.
is kind of surprising.
Was,
like, I always thought it was one of those live service games. They would just iterate on the same one. Like, I would never think it would be an Overwatch 2 would come out.
Well, I mean, and they've said that even if you don't upgrade to Overwatch 2, I think they said really the biggest thing for this is there's going to be a single player campaign in this one. They will continue to update and support the original Overwatch, adding the new characters, new maps, and everything like that to the original one. But if you want the addition of the new like story mode and all that, then, and I'm sure they'll probably throw something else in there to try and entice people to buy it. But I think the main draw is the story mode for Overwatch 2.
Gotcha. Is that lore that deep? Like, I know these characters have backstories and all that kind of stuff, but is it worth
they
keeping
kind
up with?
of, I mean, they kind of really just came out with the first game, and then as they went on, they produced web comics, basically like animated shorts and things here and there to kind of inject lore and backstory into these characters. And it's, I mean, the community really jumped into it. For me, it didn't really matter too much. Some of it was interesting and cool to see. But I mean, there's obviously a market for it. I mean, I love single player campaigns. I mean,
amen.
Half the majority of the games I play for the single player campaign.
All right, that's your some majority of your BlizzCon news. We covered your BlizzCon A to Z. Might be a good podcast title. PlayStation at Home initiative. Play at home from PlayStation, that is. This comes from Gamatsu and Sal Romano, the greatest reporter in Gamatsu history. Sony Interactive Entertainment will bring back its Play at Home initiative that they first unveiled in 2020. Gamatsu notes that last year we got Uncharted, the Nathan Drake Collection, and Journey as our free titles. And this year is going to be from March through June. Starting March 1st, all PlayStation users will be able to redeem and keep the 2016 title Ratchet & Clank. It doesn't matter whether you are PlayStation Plus or not. This is for everyone.
Yes, everyone play this game.
It's a good game.
It's a good
Starting
game.
March 25th, Funimation, Cesar's disclaimer, Cesar is a part owner of Funimation. A joint venture of Sony Pictures Entertainment and Aniplex of Japan will offer extended access for new subscribers to Funimation or Wakanim? Help? Someone?
I don't know. This is
Uh,
that is the New Zealand version of Funimation. So,
There's our clarification. In the countries they are
yep.
available. More information on the further free games and entertainment offers will be announced in the coming weeks.
This is why Sony spent that cool $1 billion to get anime around the world, because all they have is Funimation in the United States, and then Madman in Australia, Wacom, an Anime Lab in New Zealand, and Manga Entertainment in England, and they have no footprint anywhere else in the world. The only thing I thought was funny was that they finally added Portuguese and Spanish dubs on Funimation, and it was weird because I started watching an episode of Attack on Titan and decided to just choose the Brazilian dub for me, and I was like, I don't know what's happening.
Cool. Why not?
Yeah, I was like, I guess they're running into issues, so I had to go in there and and change the dub to something else. So I was like, all right.
All right, so look forward to your next play-at-home games unveiled. This comes from The Verge and Chris Welch. Rare's unreleased N64 game Dinosaur Planet has leaked. You can already see the Star Fox influence in this late build of the N64 title. This is, of course, the game that would turn into Star Fox Adventures once Nintendo saw the lead character, who was apparently originally the little cute fox character from, or tiger character, I think it was, from Diddy Kong Racing, right? And this is actually towards the build that was released by the website is Forest of Illusion. And I've been following them for some time, so I actually saw this when it came out, and then everybody sort of jumped on it. But it's late into the build because it has started to turn into that Star Fox version of the game. So this is actually playable on emulator or native hardware. I actually downloaded the ROM from, they purchased this ROM from somewhere and made it free for everybody, which is the dream. It took a little bit of finagling with the way my flashcard saves games, but I actually got it up and running, and this is a gorgeous, gorgeous N64 game. It really shines on a CRT. It looks amazing. And I only played the first intro level, which very much mirrors the opening of Star Fox Adventures. You're flying in with Krista. There's what do they call them? Sharp claws, I think, on the pirate ship. You open with it goes seamlessly from the opening cinematic into a almost Panzer Dragoon-esque shooty bit, I guess, with the ship before you land on it. And I don't know if my flash card is saving properly. I think I tested it, but I never went back in there to see if it saved. So that will probably decide whether or not I keep playing this game or not. But actually, FaceTime Russell, we've noted on this podcast, that was our first GameCube game. We got the GameCube for Christmas and Star Fox Adventures, and we forced Cesar to play through it. What was that, been about 4 or 5 years ago now?
I scarcely remember.
You don't scarcely remember it. It's one of the highlights of your gaming career.
I remember saw the back of my eyes a lot. So.
Falling asleep. And we woke you up to force you to play your turn.
To run around the temple where I didn't know what was doing, and y'all just laughing at me because I don't know what to do next.
And we didn't want to play it either. But hopefully, I think it's playable all the way through. I've seen kind of mixed reactions as far as how it wraps up.
From what I've heard, it's mostly finished. There's, I guess it's not 100% playable. If you are gonna play it, I guess flashcard is the best option. Yep. Playing it on emulators apparently is giving people a lot of weird glitches and bugs.
Yeah, a friend of the show, Michael, was playing it. I know he was playing it on N64 emulator with an Xbox controller, and he was asking me about my flashcard. He was specifically saying, I want to play this with original hardware and the real controller. Mm.
But yeah, from that, I watched a little bit of some gameplay, and from that opening, that first vibe I got was Panzer Dragoon.
Yeah.
And just that flying bit, and then once they got off their whatever that creature was, and got onto the back of that ship and started doing the combat and then opening treasure, I'm like, it's like Panzer Dragoon and then mixed with Legend of Zelda, and what is going on? This looks insane.
Yeah. You can see the roots of what would become, Star Fox Adventures once they fully went in with that license.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks to be fully playable. The ending is up in the air. I don't know that anyone has gotten that far.
You could be the first,
I'm
sir.
sure they have at that point. The game will currently, Forest of Illusion notes, the game will currently not run
It's
100% perfectly
unfinished.
on emulator. Expect many glitches. It ran perfectly on my EverDrive though. And The Verge notes that this has been a great month for game preservation because GoldenEye 007 is playable in the same manner that this game is. But I know that one you can beat. I know you can play all the way through that one.
Mm-hmm.
Brant, do you have a flash card yet for 64?
I do not. It is definitely one of the things
Oof.
I am looking to get.
Oof.
They're pricey though.
So I use the ED Plus 64. That's the one I have, and it is actually $64 on eBay. And I'll send you that link
That's
if
not
it's
bad.
something you're after. And I've had no issues with it. It's played perfectly for me. When Cesar and I go on our Blitz kicks, we usually actually end up playing Blitz off of one of those.
I know we could get into the weeds on this, but have you run into any compatibility issues? Because I know there's some rare games that cannot run due to basically their lockout method and things that they did.
I've played Banjo on it. I've played Perfect Dark on it. I've played Ocarina on it. This game, I put that ROM on there, and it's the first time I've taken the card out of the cart. Like I was nervous putting it in my computer. Like, oh god, I'm gonna wipe out the OS and everything else that this shipped with. And I downloaded that ROM and renamed it Dinosaur Planet, and it just shows up in my list. I think it's after Gone Quackers, Donald Duck, or right before.
As it should,
as
yeah,
it should be.
as it should. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't seen any issues, Brant. And if you want to check it out, next time we hang out, check out the flash card and see if, run something through its paces and see if you have any issues.
Awesome.
I want to say something crashed. No.
We ran into issues here and there with Blitz, but it's like random and it doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah. Not enough
It's
to where
it's
I would
not
be like.
we haven't seen a game where it's consistently crashing. I mean, you'll have your hiccups here and there. I think when we try stuff out, but it was nothing like it's not like a game you always start and it always crashed or something like that.
I'm kind of crazy about this stuff, Brant, and nothing about it says, man, I wish I would have got the $300 one. I've never encountered that level of. I want to say something does not run though. Now that you've mentioned that, but it's not any of the. It's not your big. It's not your big hits. It's not something that you'd be like, oh my god, I can't play this game. It's like Tetrisphere or something, some shit random like that.
Oh god, there were some random Japanese ones, and they were like that weird pinball game or something like that ran fine. So
yep,
or that weird shit we started playing.
We played that train game too. Remember, we never could get that train to get going off the station.
I don't know. I don't know anymore, man. I still remember the fucking Chariots of Fire thing. That's all I care about.
Oh god bless the Xbox Chariots of Circus Maximus. But it actually shows on the boot screen. It says expansion pack detected and everything. So I definitely say give the ED64 Plus a go. The build, the Verge notes, is from December 1st, 2000. That we got. I can't remember when that game came out, but we got it Christmas 2002. I think it might have come out that fall of 2002 because it wasn't super old when we got it. Next up, Brant, do you want to take the Neo Geo Pocket Color Selection compilation?
Yeah. So this is Gamatsu again with Sal Romano. Really, this is Neo Geo Pocket Color games. It's a small selection of specific titles. Yeah, has been is actually announced, and I think it's already out and available digitally. So the compilation will include the following titles. You have SNK Gals Fighters, Samurai Showdown 2, King of Fighters R2, The Last Blade Beyond the Destiny, Fatal Fury First Contact, SNK versus Capcom, The Match of the Millennia. And all titles are currently available digitally on the eShop for $7.99. So I know Richard has talked a good bit about loving his Neo Geo Pocket Color. I don't know if you have any experience with the Neo Geo Pocket Color, Cesar.
Not not recently, and I mean, at one point I was going to purchase it, and then that's when they went belly up and canceled it. So,
I know I personally haven't had a Neo Geo Pocket Color. They looks like an awesome handheld, but it's nice to have these games in a collection where they're readily available. Because I know it's harder to find Neo Geo Pocket Colors and those games.
Never forget analog stick. Never forget.
Yeah, apparently that analog stick is the shit.
The clicky stick?
Yeah.
Analog stick, always. Never motion controls, always analog stick.
I love it on mine. All right, that's your Neo Geo Pocket Color selection story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Until you said right.
Correct?
Correct.
Oh, kind of a side offshoot. Did y'all see the Analog Pocket is supposed to be back in supply chain?
Really? I had not seen that.
Yeah, I saw that they're going to go through and cancel those bots.
Yep,
and
they're going to kill the bots.
Kill the pre-orders on eBay. Supposedly, we'll see if eBay does it. And hopefully, they said they're going to produce more. So, and then plus, hopefully they'll free out more from that one. They said they might go on sale again. So,
good for them. Get rid of those bots.
Yep. They said you should be able to, throughout 2021, you should be able to get, their goal is to make sure you can get an Analog Pocket if you want one. So that's definitely good news coming from Analog. I think they took a pretty bad press hit on the last go around.
Yeah, they don't want to be another Polymega, so.
Speaking of which, it is February 24th, Cesar. Want to give us a live Polymega update?
Absolutely nothing. I follow the Twitter thread where people bitch and ask for a refund, and they're like, contact support, and somebody gives out the warning like, hey, I've been trying to get a refund for the last 3 months. They've been dragging their feet. I think their plan is they're going to process your refund as the console comes out, so they can deter people from refunding. That's his theory. He has no proof, but
I wonder if I should go ahead and throw my name in the hat, because what's his name? Pork Chop Express. He threw up some misters, some complete builds of misters today, and I was like, would I rather have a mister than a fucking vaporware console?
Well, I mean, it's already EOL with that chipset, so they don't produce that CPU anymore. So,
all right, Cesar, what's our move? Our weekly Polymega update.
I told them I give them to them. I'm in my word. They got 4 more days. After that, I will contact support and be like, hey, you said the end of February. It's March 1st, so never say I was never a patient man.
Right.
I'm secretly waiting for them to do the little. I give it another. We got 4 days. I give it like another 3 days, and then we'll get the like secret like, oh, something happened in June, and I'm like, all right.
Chip shortage. I mean, it's not our fault.
We
chip
already
shortage, COVID. You know.
Well, I mean, the chip shortage is bullshit because the chip shortage is EOL. They don't make those chipsets anymore.
They should be able to get them more and so get them cheaper than ever.
Well, we're already gonna have to pop it open and upgrade the chipset, so automatically to CPU. I mean, at this point, I might as well just build a PC.
I mean, that's what it is, anyways. We were promised FPGA to start with. I'm right there with you, dude. I'm tapping out. I think I'm done. I basically I had a tinker week, and I'll talk about this in games played. Maybe I won't touch much back on it. I hooked up my modded Wii to my CRT. I had to hook it up to my Plasma and go into all the emulators that I had and take them off a progressive scan, because as soon as I fired them up on the CRT, they were just shit in the bed. So I had to downgrade all those to like regular, interlaced composite and get it out of that mode. And I just played a couple games on there, and I was like, okay, I have TurboGrafx library, I have Super Nintendo, Genesis, Game Boy. I'm like, I'm already right there.
I mean, the only thing we're missing now is what, PS1 and Sega Saturn, and we can do those on PC. And then you have the added benefit you could already do PS2 on PC. So
it's already the same thing. We wanted the box underneath our TV, and for that.
It was a pretty good idea, and it was pretty attractive to say, hey, you can use all your collection that you've already got. It loads onto the system, and then you don't have to worry about wearing out your discs, wearing out the optical drive every time.
That was the dream too.
Yeah, backups will install. It'll connect to online. You can download English patches and whatever else for different region games and play them like this and that. And it's a good solid
So even
idea,
though
but it has hardly
none
any fruit.
controllers and zappers, people are being shipped.
I mean,
Yeah.
At this point, I'm ready to just return everything and then just buy an Xbox Series S, which can do the exact same thing for less money. So
Yep. Pay that developer.
And just $10 developer mode and just download emulators on there and just
you're good.
hook up an external hard drive.
I talked to a friend of the show, Michael, today. He bought a Series S to do just that with. He's doing it right now.
Yeah.
He's loading RetroArch and everything on the Series S. So
at that point, it's cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
You save, I think, what you save. For me, I will save $200 if I want that route. So.
And those consoles the whole illusion was that it would be a console under your TV and you just pop the disc in, right? But that is a PC at this point with these same emulators that thing was going to run. No advantage. Yeah. We paid for the convenience, and we knew what it was going in. We paid for the convenience and the ease of access, and I guess whatever OS they were going to lay over everything. But it just
they were trying to do the whole
misdirections, man.
Kind of it's the ease, like you said, the ease of a console. That's all it was. I mean, they have their online digital store where you can buy these games that. We can download digitally. Everything can be saved locally on there. I mean, but at this point, it's like there's outside of the fact that they sent these prototypes to YouTubers or market people. Personalities. That's the only people who've actually gotten any.
I signed up for one. I sent them a long essay about why I would want one, but I guess I didn't have a high enough follower count.
Yes, I mean they need the publicity, so unfortunately, you did not fit that.
Metal
market,
Jesus got one.
Yeah. Hey, he won. We lost.
Did he? Did he win? Did Metal Jesus win?
He has something to show for. He
has hardware he didn't pay for. We don't have hardware we did pay for. yeah. Look
at that.
This is not even the news. Why are we talking about Polymega again? We give way too much of our.
I apologize, everybody. We do this every week.
Weekly Polymega.
Welcome to our therapy sessions. Yep. Therapy sessions where we just vent our anger out at random companies. This week's company from the next year will be Polymega. Play Magic? Whatever the fuck.
And our Buyers Remorse segment is officially closed. Sony announces next gen VR headset for the PS5. I could bitch about Polymega for a long time. The Verge. This is the article that Brant chose out of all the many VR PS5 articles he found. This one comes from Tom Warren. Basically a better field of view, higher resolution, and a single cord. Everything we've ever asked for PlayStation VR.
All we ever needed, all we ever wanted.
Not coming this year. It's not 2021. They've kicked around. We all got the special adapters for our PS4 VR units, and they've kind of been here and there. Like I saw some of the attach rate was like less than 5%, I think, for PS4. And then someone else noted they sold less PSVRs than they did the iToy for the PS2. But I contributed to a bunch of those iToy sales. Not gonna brag or anything, but sold a shit ton of those.
I think they said. They clarified. Was it Daniel Ahmed? He said that where he clarified that they're hoping advancement in technologies why they're sticking with it versus where they abandoned the other platforms they had on there before. So they're hoping that one core connection. I guess they're confident that the ease of this next generation one's going to be enough where they feel that they can make a difference.
Another big point. I can't remember if it was Ahmed or not, but they were saying that if Sony were to drop out of the VR space, it would be a huge blow to VR development and everything else. So it's one of those factors where you want that player. We give Oculus shit and Facebook and them, but the more players you have in this game that's driving this tech and this adoption and all that kind of stuff, the more it's going to be accessible and mainstream, and it's going to drive competition, and hopefully that killer app does come around. I would love to see. Go ahead, Sam.
No, so I think the biggest thing for Oculus is that whole the force use Facebook thing. That's the thing. I don't know if it's any different than PlayStation. You're forced to use their account, but I just know, the whole social media thing aspect on there where you're like, you have to use it to get access to Oculus is a big turn down for a lot of people.
It's a deterrent for me.
Outside of that, who else is out there? So,
they also talk about, they also talk about how they're planning to redo the controllers for VR and add some of the features that are found in the DualSense. So
That'd be awesome.
they're really trying to work. Yeah, they're really.
Uh,
I mean, could you even imagine if they put some of those haptics inside the actual like headset or something? Just crazy. Um, or I mean, I'm sure they'll be 3D audio compatible and all
God,
that
yes.
stuff. So I mean, I, even though I mean this is basically just saying, hey, it's kind of in development. I mean, a lot of people are speculating they're probably just saying this because either dev kits may be going out to certain people already, and they're trying to get ahead of the curve because people always be taking pictures and posting shit on the internet.
This thing.
So,
I mean, we already have fucking iPhone 13 leaked out, so I'm like, I seriously, I was about to buy the iPhone 12, and I was like, 13 is like super different. I was like, I'll just wait until September now. I was getting there. I was like, it's been 2 years since I bought my phone, and my battery's been wonky in my watch, and I was like, nah, I'll wait the 6 more months now because they said the difference was drastic on the next model. I was like, yeah, I'll wait.
But yeah, just like Cesar said, I mean, you have HTC and Oculus, but Sony's big, and if they're gonna like revolution, if they're gonna change, the whole thing and kind of revolutionize it, kind of like reinventing the wheel over here with the DualSense. We could be in for a super immersive, super unique experience with the new VR.
I just thought of a way you can sell the new PlayStation 5 VR. Package it in with the console. It's a guaranteed sale, right? Perfect attach rate.
Yeah.
There we go.
Like the old Kinect.
I'm sure we'll get that VR right around when we probably get slim PS5. So
that checks out. I think it was Daniel Dwyer said he would like to see a killer app launch with it, like maybe Half-Life Alyx, like a non-compromised version. Like, yeah, that would be a big get. I have been a noted delayed adopter on VR on both the original and the HDR headset. This is a day one for me. I will day one be trying to procure the PS5 VR. That is 100%.
Same.
I know Cesar's in the same boat.
Yeah, when have I not day one anything? It's a sad life. Somebody's gotta live it. Thinking hard. The only thing I did day one is a Series S. That's it. There we go. I got something.
That was like choosing between the 360 Pro and the 360 Arcade, right? You got a Pro, so you were good.
I don't know, man. I'm known for doing stupid shit like that. Where like,
not that stupid.
I could day one both of these.
You don't have a PlayStation Digital, do you? PS5 Digital?
I've thought about it.
All right.
I fucked around, had it in my cart, and was just kind of like circling around to buy it now. I thought about it.
So Jim Ryan gave a quote. Given this was our first foray into virtual reality, it gives us a chance to apply lessons learned. One of the very vivid illustrations of that is that we will be moving to a very easy single cord setup. It already got easier with that second iteration, but I definitely see where that's a go-to. I think, and one of the biggest drivers for PlayStation VR the first go-around was Shuhei Yoshida. Remember him saying it was like the most exciting project he'd worked on at PlayStation since the PS1. I think as long as he's around, he's going to see this keep being driven. And it's not a bad thing. PlayStation VR is awesome. Anybody who has yet to play it needs to experience it. Next up in news, as we're taking forever to get through news again, because that's us. Somebody tell me about that next-gen Tony Hawkage.
It's
just not all at once. That's the thing that's coming out. It's an old game. Who would want to play this?
Yeah, it comes out next month. Next month for PS5 and Series X.
The biggest news in this is getting through the weeds of the upgrade paths. So let's just make sure we hone in on that when we get to it, because it's backwards of what we usually expect.
So here we go. I'm just going with the upgrade path because I can sit here and tell you it's coming out for the Switch, but we don't have a date for the Switch version. So I'm not going to go into details about that.
It's coming to Switch after Tony Hawk kind of teased it with the Crash Bandicoot news from last week, which was really cool Twitter stuff.
Yeah.
I was on the webpage for the version, then they told me that my iPhone was affected, so wait for it. I have to reload the page.
Your iPhone's infected. Don't reload the page.
Yeah, all I did was just close it out and then close the tab. So it's coming out for the next current gen console. So There's several ways, what they call paths to victory. If you
I love
own
the
the
marketing spin.
if you own the digital deluxe version of the older gen games, you can download the next gen upgrade for free. Unless you're in Japan, no free for use, 100 yen.
Again,
which
wasn't
is
that the
$1.
Crash Bandicoot situation? What is their deal over there? We just talked about
I
this,
don't know,
right?
man. They hate. Everybody gets it, but fuck Japan. I don't know. If you originally bought the game digitally but don't have the
fuck
digital
Japan.
deluxe
That's all
version,
I
you can.
heard out of that.
Yeah.
Oh god, if we had lewd titles, that would be our episode titles.
Oh,
Everybody gets it, but fuck Japan.
That could take it out of context, but I'll
We talked
it.
about that last episode.
You can pay $10 to upgrade to the cross-gen deluxe bundle, which includes the content for the digital deluxe version. Basically, you're paying $10 to get the deluxe version. If you have the physical PS4 version of the game, you will be able to upgrade to PS5. But you'll need to keep the disc in there. That's given. If you have the physical version, the Xbox One version, you're out of luck. There's no upgrade offer for the Xbox Series X and S version.
At least they broke it down for us. I mean, Xbox has been so good about smart delivery. Like, we've had confusion and discussion on this podcast about, how does the PlayStation upgrade path work, and do I have to pop the disc in, and which version of Spider-Man am I actually installing? And this is like where the first blatant Xbox, like, what happened? Like, you have to buy a whole new SKU. So I know people with the physical copy of this, and the one particular person I know, he will not have that upgrade path on his Series X, and that sucks. I mean, that's what he's used to. He pops in Call of Duty, he gets the best one. He pops in Halo, he gets the best one. It's not going to happen with this. That throws off their whole thing,
I think the honeymoon's over because remember EA was trying to break that up originally when they came out with Madden because they were going to do the same bullshit, remember? And then they got a lot of backlash and like, all right, because they let everybody get that 1 year for free basically. Because I don't think it's going to happen.
Already starting to roll it back
because they did the same thing with FIFA. Well, I mean, I think at this point, I think they're expecting somebody to pay for something. I think it's a whole. If you're not part of the smart delivery program, I guess it has something to do with the smart delivery system on Xbox.
Microsoft,
that's the whole reason why.
Do you not?
Because it doesn't do it
to keep up with that though. Do you not say, hey, let this slide. Let's see how many people actually convert this, and then we'll cut you, whatever percentage that is.
I think we'll see after this. After it happens for the next couple of games, Microsoft's pretty good about addressing stuff. So you never know. In a couple of months, they might or a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
we worked out a deal, and you get the upgrade now. So you know how they are. It just all depends. So if enough people complain, it's something they'll probably look at, and they'll probably bring it to the table. Like, all right, what do we need to do to make sure this doesn't happen?
That marketing buzz would be worth that compensation of whatever that transfer they want is, because it's not even a $10 fee for them. They don't get smart delivery. It's not a $10 upgrade. You have to buy. You don't own Tony Hawk for Series X.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is just the way they treat their games on Xbox. Because when you have those that are compatible with the Series X and S, they all use that same achievement list. They don't treat them as separate games. But when you have the upgrades for PS5 to PS4 to PS5, there's a whole different trophy list. It's like it's completed. It's treated as a different game altogether. That's how they do those upgrades. So it's not like it's all combined together.
Are they starting to separate that now? Are they past the honeymoon phase, like you were saying? No, I'm talking about Microsoft.
Yes, Microsoft. I don't know, because remember they were always a possibility. Because remember they advertised smart delivery. Not all games will be compatible with it. So I don't know what their criteria is for smart delivery.
I haven't experienced, but it seems like such a good thing, and it seemed like such a marketable thing. Like, hey, buy the SKU, and you're gonna get the best version on Xbox. And now that's fallen off, and we're not even 6 months out from launch. It's like, how long is that going to be a thing?
I don't know. I mean, if I'm looking at it from a neutral perspective, I'm wondering if they're losing out on something, and that's why they're not doing it. Because if it was like a alley-oop or hole in one or something like that, it's like a given they would have done it. But I mean, there has to be some type of monetary value they're losing by going smart delivery, that they felt that it wasn't justified for them to do it. So
Activision has that data, right? They're looking at that and saying, okay, Assassin's Creed could have made this much money, or we could have made this much more money off of. The Call of Duty didn't even do smart delivery, right? So has Activision ever done smart delivery with Xbox?
I don't think so. And I remember EA almost didn't do it either. So I think they only said they were, like I mentioned before, they only did for this last year's Madden and FIFA was it. They weren't going to do it again this year. So I think you have to do some kind of upgrade fee for them to get to jump up the version. I think for this.
So
this
right
coming year.
now it's basically Microsoft
Unless-
and Ubisoft.
Unless
right?
something Microsoft works or something. Yeah. I could be wrong, and then Microsoft could have worked something with EA afterwards after they had their EA deal that they had in Game Pass. So there could be a deal that might have remedied all that. So I don't know. That could have changed.
We'll see how this plays out, but put this one in PlayStation's favor, which hasn't really been the category you've been putting the tally in so far next gen.
Yeah, Sony's been real. The last couple of years, they've just been like real upfront, like this. It is what it is, and they just post it out there. So, I think they're doing it at that point.
So those next gen Hawks are March 26th. Also coming.
Yeah, it's like was it like 2 weeks after the Bandicoot ones?
Yeah, I think so. Big month for
it's all in the
remasters
same month,
for them.
right?
They're gonna burn it up again. Those are gonna be big sellers. The next week after that, if I got my math right, 2 weeks after that, cult classic Star Wars Republic
14 days.
Commando is getting remastered. This comes from The Verge. Is getting remastered for the PS4 and Switch, skipping the Xbox platform it originally launched on. Republic Commando, the mid-2000s cult classic tactical first-person shooter, will get a new life on modern consoles for PS4 and Switch for $14.99 on April 6th. Via Aspire Media. The studio previously worked on Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, and they're currently working on Stubbs the Zombie. They were recently bought up in that... Didn't we talk about that last week or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
They are famous port masters. Now, I never played this game. I bought several copies in order to have like a fallback for LAN parties. Like, all right, let's say there's only 3 people here. What are we going to play? But I always heard this was highly revered, this campaign for... Republic Commando. Have you played it, Brant?
I have not.
Same boat, despite owning multiple copies of it.
And they do note that even though it's not coming to Xbox, it is a backwards compatible game.
That is true.
For
Did
the
they give
Xbox.
it to us
So
1 month?
that may be.
Maybe I just had a.
They might have.
Maybe.
Yeah.
They were playable. 2018 is when they added it. It must have been in that last round of backwards compatible games.
I mean, we got it for free at some point, didn't we, for Xbox?
That's what we were just saying.
We just talked about that, right?
We got it for free at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if it rolled back around for Xbox that same month. Potentially. Yeah. Oh, we didn't put the list. We didn't put the next Xbox list on there.
Update.
I mean, I don't think it matters because, what was it, Racer and all those eventually came on Xbox at some point. They just came later, so I imagine the same thing's going to happen this one. I'm not sure why they're not coming day and date, so.
We just noted they were coming from Aspire
But
Media.
but then again, PlayStation's finally getting Turok after 4 years.
I didn't realize that was a big deal. I saw that on the news, and I was like, okay, how is that a thing? But I thought they got delisted, maybe.
No, they never got them. Night Dive Studios, I think, who was the original ones, never had development kits from Sony until like way late.
That's
in
surprising.
The development cycle, because they ended up putting it on the Xbox first, and then it came on Switch afterwards.
That's surprising. Last bit of news, Anthem Next. This news broke today. There was an audit internally that Bloomberg ran the story on from, I guess it was last week, but we didn't really include it in news. BioWare was going to have a meeting with Anthem developers and kind of see where they got to as far as like, what was it, 2019 or something, when they started to pivot and see what they were going to do with the game and see where they were going to go.
Yeah.
They had a small team. I think it was like, 30 people or something like that. It was
right.
It was a small team
to pivot Anthem into something else. And I think I bought a copy of Anthem with the hopes that I would buy into this new vision or whatever. They say it best on The Verge. After putting a pin in short-term updates and expansions to focus on a longer-term redesign, EA announced today that it will be canceling its planned revamp of the game Anthem called Anthem Next. But the company plans to keep Anthem's live service running as it exists today. So don't look forward to updates or anything else. BioWare does have other projects in the works, including Dragon Age 4. According to Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, the small team that was working on Anthem's redesign will now be working on the sequel to Dragon Age. There's your 30 people. It was reported last May that an incubation team of about 30 people was tasked with reworking Anthem. So no more support. Basically, it's no more updates.
Yeah, I think they were doing it based off of player support was their original role. And we didn't link it on there, but I think Rebecca Valentine, IGN, had a pretty good article on there where she broke down about the head of EA Studios, where they were deciding at this point they're leaving the fate of their IPs up to the studios and is no longer being dictated by EA. She noted that Respawn still has fate over this Titanfall license. They said it's up to them if they want to make the games. They're not dictating it anymore. I think the same thing was said about Anthem. I think she said her counterpoint was why they decided to go away from Anthem next was because DICE had the same issue with Battlefront 2 on last-gen consoles, PS4 and Xbox One, where they had a lot of fan criticism, and they took that feedback and they turned it around quickly versus something they couldn't do with Anthem. So I guess that's why they felt I think the way she painted it was BioWare decided to move away from Anthem versus EA did. So, and she also noted in there in the article that, hey, you could get something from Titanfall. It's up to Respawn. So
that's
whatever
good
they
news
want to
and
do at
bad
this
news
point.
coming out of that. EA's not this ultimate villain pulling the plug on these projects. The studios are getting more leeway to make those calls. So BioWare has decided that wasn't worth that investment.
I don't recall the person who's running that program over there in EA, but I know she's been with the company I think for 25 years. So she came from Westwood Studios that did the Command and Conquer series. So she's been there for a while. Yeah.
Yep. Maybe there will be a Titanfall. Maybe there'll be another Medal of Honor for VR, which apparently didn't go over too hot.
Yeah, according to that, I mean, if it's based off what they said, I guess it's up to them to make those pitches and believe they can turn a franchise and make a sell off of it. So they have free reign to do what they want. No more Anthem.
We need to play that build that's out there for now before it disappears forever because the single player is tied to the online. We at least need to try it out. I think friend of the show Dale put like 25, 30 hours into Anthem.
And I think we all bought that copy that same day. And
I was about to say, I think I bought him that copy. I spent the $5 for Dale to get his 30 hours out of it.
We waited in that freaking long ass line in the GameStop.
Did we get anything else, or did I just get like 2 copies of Anthem? I got some backwards compatible stuff, right?
I don't know. I think for whatever reason, that was the day I decided to buy.
We all bought Far Cry Primal. It's out of print. We need to get it.
I didn't say that. I'd never seen it this cheap before. I didn't say it was out of print. That game had value, and I was like, it was less than $20. It was time to buy.
10. We all jumped for 10.
Yeah, because for whatever reason, that game never dropped.
I don't think it still has.
I don't think it was very good Far Cry, but for whatever reason, that game was.
That was one of the first of their reskins, right? Wasn't that Far Cry 4 with the prehistoric mapping over Far Cry 4 stuff? Just like they did with New Dawn.
It was basically how New Dawn was the Far Cry 5, Far Cry Primal was the Far Cry 4. It was like a separate. It could have been an expansion pack. It could have been because there was it had nothing to do with that universe or the themes was completely different.
I don't mind it. So and fans of Far Cry seem to not have minded that. So
I know. Look at Ubisoft now. They're not doing fucking AAA titles like that anymore. So.
Oh, we got a date for our Watch Dogs multiplayer. My $30 game is. I might actually play it online with you. I can't remember the date though. I think it's early March.
We get that. All we're gonna do is sit in front of that mirror building and just look at the ray tracing on there and see the mirror effects. Turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. This is next gen.
What was I playing? What was I playing that was joke had ray tracing in it? Oh, Lego Star Wars 2 for the Xbox. The kids have moved on to that. And I was looking at some of the reflections like in the Death Star and stuff. I was like, holy shit, this is ray tracing. Look at this.
You know what? Just go ahead.
Let's segue. Let's go ahead.
Just go ahead and finish.
All right, the kids have left the licensed hell of Shrek 2 behind, and they have moved on to Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy for the original Xbox. Which is quite the game, much like Shrek 2. It's not as funny. Like the Lego games I've played lean way more into the satire of the series and things like that, and they don't do a lot of leeway with it. Like there's not a lot of humorous cutscenes or anything like that. And
this was one of the first ones, right? Though.
Yeah, right now we're going all that route. Still, this is still early on in that Telltale form. Is it? Travel.
I think the first one I remember. Was what Indiana Jones was when they were starting doing the zany bullshit.
And this was before that because this is the original Xbox. I think this game was on 360 also. I think this might have been like PSP, DS, Wii, 360, PS2. This might have been one of those games.
I think this was before. Yeah, yeah. I won't get on too on it, but I think you're right. This is when the 360 was hot, and they were like, let's put every game we got on
But they're
there.
playing it on the original Xbox because we've got a setup in the game room, and they've kind of honed in on that. And I'm like, all right, you can only pick a game with the green case. You gotta find one. That's why they've done like Monkey Ball and Shrek 2 and stuff. I think it's a really good game. The John Williams score is awesome. The Lego building is, you'll find something and have to like bust up a tree or something, and then it'll put those bricks down, and you build the bricks, and then it turns into something else. And like that formula was perfected pretty early on, and this is a good iteration of that. My oldest child has really taken off with this game. There are some games that have clicked with her partially, and some that were kind of so-so. She loves this game for some reason, and I don't, she has no affinity for the Star Wars license. She hasn't. Maybe I'm a bad dad. They haven't seen the original trilogy yet, but she has like nothing for the series. But she's really enjoying switching between the characters and doing certain things that they'll have to do. Like she's picked up on the cues. There's the level we're on now with Tatooine. You switch between Luke, Ben Kenobi, and then you have the two droids following you around. So there's certain things that you'll have to do to activate like a switch or something that will only be something for R2. And she'll see the panel and go up to it as maybe Luke, and she'll see the R2 logo and be like, okay, I got to go back and get. She calls him 2do D2 or something. It's a funny. She calls him. She has a totally
It's
different
close.
name, and then
It works.
What does she call 3PO? It's nowhere close to that. I can't even come up with it. But she'll see the icon on it and then want to go switch to that character and do, it's just an action button to complete whatever it is that they have to do. And then Bantha, I should have written these down. She had a name for Banthas. You can ride the Banthas at some point. She's like, Dad, let's get on these things. And there's only one of them. I'm like, go ahead, I'll watch. And I'm just sitting below the Bantha watching her like slowly move around to the Bantha. You don't really do anything with it but move around real slow. Her younger sister is not as entertained. She tries to get her to play it, and then when she declines, Dad, will you play? And I'm like, I have so little game time. This is probably not what I would pick, but sure, let's go. Lego Star Wars 2 for original Xbox. Let's go.
It's better than
The
DS
one wasn't bad.
DS.
They hadn't perfected it by then. So we played some Lego Star Wars 2. That's her jam right now. We played some more Cat Mario. We are on World 3 now. And we might be reaching the point where we can no longer play as a team or as a family. The coaching experiences are far too frequent now, where I have to pause the game and be like, all right, family, let's decide. We all need to know what we're doing here. And
I found out
what's
how
the
to
button
bubble.
we need to know?
L and R at the same time.
L1 and R1 or L2 and R2? The front ones?
1 and 1.
The thin ones?
Yeah.
Shoulder buttons
Right,
are triggers. Shoulder buttons are triggers.
That's why I just said L and R, because it would be Z, L,
That's
Z,
L2
and
and
RZ
R2.
or
Shut
whatever.
your mouth. we know what those buttons are. Yeah, whatever the bullshit Nintendo spin is. Like only like on the 3DS XL where they put it on the inside of it. I hate that shit. That was a nightmare design.
Yeah. Because I did it by accident, and I was like, all right, everybody
Finally.
stop. I'm going to figure this shit out. And
Perfect.
we finally figured it out.
Does that make it easier? Or are y'all still playing as a unit?
And you proceed to make a video and put on YouTube on how
I would
to
have
do
watched. I would have Googled it and watched.
Hey, man, it would have been 5 seconds. It would have been well worth a lot of people's time.
I'm Brent. Here's a Pro Controller. Here's what you need to do to bubble your character in Super Mario 3D World.
These two buttons. Like, subscribe, and hit the
Check out our podcast
button
every
top.
Wednesday night on Twitch, YouTube. Yeah, that could have been a good opportunity.
Yep, for all the latest in erotic visual novels.
But our coaching sessions turn into yelling sessions. Like somebody's way back here, like you got to speed up, and you're way far ahead. You have to come back. We're all losing. Two of us see a green star up there. You're so fucking far up here. You need to come back. You're not even. We're gonna screw each other and fall in a hole somewhere. It's just turned into a whole thing, and we veered a little bit away from it. And this is what I did last time I played it. I just need to play this game by myself and enjoy it for the single player experience it is. But We're all together. It was her birthday present. We laugh. It is the Cat Mario game, so I just have to be like, all right, we'll just go through this at whatever pace it is. But I do want to check out like the Bowser's Fury part of it at some point. That's all of that one. I did my tinkering session that I was telling y'all, was switching all the Wii emulators back to composite or interlaced video so they wouldn't freak out on my non-HD CRT. Messing around with Super Metroid just kind of to see how it would look. I'm done with my CRT game. I've talked about this back and forth. Like, that is the CRT I'm going with. It's a Trinitron KV 2742, I think is the model. S video only, and I got an S video cord for the Wii now, so I've got everything on S video. That is, so everything is hooked up to it. I've got Dreamcast, Saturn, Super Nintendo, Xbox, PS2/PS1, and then I don't know if I said Wii or not, but that's Wii and GameCube together. So pretty much everything under the sun. The TurboGrafx isn't hooked up, and the NES isn't hooked up, but I kind of have a composite only TV for both of those, and I don't play those a whole lot because the NES is on the emulator too. So if I get a mad itch, I'll just hook it up on that, or I'll hook it up on that other TV. I've also settled my next gen TV debacle. I sent Cesar a picture earlier, Brian. I haven't told you. Friend of the show, Michael, helped me procure a LG OLED. The CX55 is the one I went with. So I'm done with that. I haven't set it up yet. Still in the box. That's going to be a whole thing this weekend, getting everything hooked up and set up and turn on everything and turn off other things and that kind of stuff. This might be a strategy for you, Brant. I wore the missus down with just talking about it all the time. Like, oh, this TV's pretty nice. It does. It's going to do everything I want it to do for the next 5 years. And she finally was like, and I mean, she kind of knew it too, but she was like, you've compromised with a lot of stuff. You try to make this work. And they're decent panels. We'll put them somewhere, but get what you want. And friend of the show, Michael, kind of offered me a good deal through a discount he was able to procure. So I was like, all right, let's go. Let's do this. So maybe I'll have some reviews of that next week. I got to see, because I don't have a Series X, I got to see what I can really get frame rate wise out of the PS5 that I own. Cesar, do you know anything that I currently have that I can really push with that? I mean, like, Control's going to look good, so I'll be happy with firing up Control and checking it out on there. I don't have Dirt. I know Dirt's 120 frames per second, and that's a Games with Gold title for Xbox. I'm like, damn it. Maybe we'll get it next month for PlayStation. Cesar, you could loan me Call of Duty campaign.
Well, what games you got?
Watch Dogs, Mortal Kombat, and what is my other physical SKU? You know, I have the digital ones we've all gotten through PlayStation Plus. I got one more physical SKU.
Do you have Miles?
I don't have Miles.
Do you have
Morales.
Miles Morales? I'm about to say it wouldn't be 120, but I mean that 60 frames a second with ray tracing and all.
Yeah, I know it'll look good on that OLED too. What's my other physical game? What did I buy? Now I have to know. I have 3.
We know it's not Demon's Souls. We know that.
I have 3 PS5 games. I have Watch Dogs. I have Mortal Kombat. God damn it!
It's probably your the Zelda ripoff.
That's it. Immortals, Phoenix Rising. That's it. Good job, Cesar. Ubisoft Breath of the Wild, as I've termed it. I think I got it for like $25. I had to jump after playing that demo before. So.
I don't. There's not really too many 120 frames per second games. I mean, you don't have Neo? No, you don't like Dark Souls type games. That's a dumb question. I'm sorry.
Dirt had a demo. I would want to see how it would perform on that. I'm trying to talk friend of the show Jeremy into bringing his Series X over here so I could see some Halo, but I'm also afraid. I told Cesar when Cesar saw the TV I had, I was like, all right, start the clock. Let's see when I get a Series X now. It's gonna start weighing on me that I'm not getting Halo at the maximum frame rate.
Yeah. The only thing you need to make sure, I mean, you got the TV, you just got to make sure you have the HDMI cable and then the console. That's it. I mean, it's not that difficult.
Yeah.
So.
It seems like so far, though, there's more Xbox titles geared towards it, but I think that's just because they've had that mantra of it's the best way to play and that kind of stuff. So
Oh fuck! I mean, I could
I
sit here
googled
and
it earlier, and I think Godfall had some sort of advantage, but
I
it
don't,
wasn't anything that I was. I know Gran Turismo's probably going to take advantage of it, and I know Ratchet and Clank's going to look good on that OLED too.
Which, yeah, we didn't say it, but Gran Turismo
Ah,
got delayed
that
till
was in the news. There was a bunch of
2022.
stuff from that PlayStation Press release that we could have gone over, but we hit the major bits from it.
that'd be
Yeah,
fine. I mean, we got
Oh
that
yeah,
state of
State
play
of
we'll
Play
talk about
tomorrow.
next week. So
yeah,
Yeah.
we got State of Play tomorrow.
I mean, we'll have more news on that front. So, and they're keeping with that Sony fashion where they're just gonna we're just showing what we talked about from the last one with updates
Yeah,
and
there will still be a
some new
nugget
stuff.
here or
So,
there. Like we had the whole Nintendo Direct, and then we got this Neo Geo thing out of nowhere, the Neo Geo Pocket Color collection out of nowhere. Did they say there was going to be a physical version of that?
Mhm.
Did I read that somewhere?
they highly
Yeah,
said that was gonna happen. I just think, I mean, most of those.
because I think they're like $8 a piece.
I just don't. I
right?
guess. Yeah, I think what they've done recently, I think through Sony, SNK goes through limited run for their games, and then I think was it like Pix and Love? I think is in the European distribution is the one it does for Switch and PS4. So I guess they didn't say anything yet because I guess they're probably working on who's going to handle that distribution and whether or not those going to be
makes
like
sense.
limited run type things.
That makes
or
sense.
not.
There's a delay on that.
So all I know is the way they inferred it's like we're getting a physical copy, but they didn't want to give any
Right.
information out yet. So
I did not play Sea of Thieves. Played more Halo. My new position is allowing me lunch skits, as I've termed it before. So we played like probably 3 or 4 times over the past week. Just getting in a solid hour at lunchtime. So when we play on Saturday nights, there's a wide breadth of players. There's people that destroy us. There's people we compete with pretty regular, and then there's people we roll. There is no in between on through the week. It's either Halo gods that we go up against, and it's just not even competitive, or we roll noobs. It just puts us in a group that we just go through these people. So the competition definitely, maybe that's a weekend skew versus like a through the week thing, but a friend of the show Dale has been able to play a lot with us through the week, so that's been cool. His schedule's a little bit different than ours. His birthday was this past week, so usually I talk about Halo a lot, but it's myself, friend of the show Russell, friend of the show Dale, and friend of the show Jeremy, and we all get together. And Dale's birthday was this past week, so we played the day before his birthday, and we all changed our clan tag to Teabag Dale. So we were all waiting in the room, and it's something we've said before. Like, I mean, we're all on the same team, but there would be some random things like Teabag Dale, Dale's body's down, and so Dale logs on it. When Dale logged on his birthday, he sees Teabag Dale. He's like, "Really, guys?" He actually saw Jeremy's first, so he pivots to the anger's like immediately focused at Jeremy. Like, Jeremy, really? Come on, man. And then he sees.
hey man, it's
Teabag
Dolly.
Mas.
You're just not saying it right.
So
Before you go
No,
on, I
you're-
apologize. I don't want to interrupt you. Borderlands 3 and Destiny 2 are both
okay,
on
I can try out both of those then. I might do some Borderlands and see what it's like. But he directs the anger at Jeremy first, and then sees that we all have Teabag Dale, and he's like, "All right, thanks, guys." And then I notice the next time we all play, when we boot into the room and we see all of our clan tags, Teabag Dale, Teabag Dale, Teabag Dale. And his says, "I'm Dale." He
That's
bought
one way to
into
own it.
man. I was like, "All right, let's do this. You did it, man." So good times continue with Halo. On the suggestion of Cesar, and this has probably been a couple months back, he was talking about the Evercade, a portable cartridge-based console by Blast from the UK, and ended up having like some random Best Buy certificates, and they're selling it now. It used to be an Amazon exclusive, but Best Buy actually has the Evercade now. So I got the cartridge pack that you get with, it's like a deluxe package for $100. Comes with the console and 3 cartridge packs, which between those 3 is like 40 something games. I sent Cesar, my bad, dude. I didn't know that Evercade fanzine was like 50 megabytes. So I sent it to you, and it's like slowly trying to open this PDF. It's like 50 megs on there. It's like, my bad, dude.
I was like, I had to look at it and like, guess what? I was like, is this porn? I almost stopped in the middle of it. I was like, I don't want any of this on my phone. I was like,
I
don't
just
want
sent it
this
to
in
him
my
as a
Messenger.
link. Like, I was on my iPad. I was at home. I didn't really think about it. And it's like this big ass fanzine PDF. It's like, my bad.
It was just some dude
Yeah,
shitting
what
on
you
a Atari
enjoyed.
collection. This game sucks. This game sucks. This game
I
sucks.
didn't try that one out. So I have the 3 that it comes with, which is Atari Collection. What is that? Atari Collection 1, Data East Collection 1. There's the game I played. Midnight Resistance is the game I played. It's kind of like a Contra slash Metal Slug type game. It's hard as shit. I mean, you can give yourself unlimited credits, but it's hard as shit. But the soundtrack was incredible. I'm listening to this like, holy hell. You guys need to check out Midnight Resistance on the Data East Collection cartridge. And then you also get the Interplay cartridge, which has Clay Fighter, Boogerman, Earthworm Jim, Battle Chess. What is that? I can't tell what that says. Or that one. So there's 2 other games on that are not included. And I also bought the Pico Collection 1, I think. It has a bunch of like JRPGs and stuff on it, which was the only way to get RPGs on this so far. And I got what was the other collection I picked up? Pico Collection. I don't see the other one I got. Maybe I got the other Atari collection. Oh, Mega Cat Studios. This one has Coffee Crisis, Little Medusa, Odd Towers, Log Jammers. It just had some random shit on it, and I was like, yeah, let's try this out. But I don't have a lot into it. I did the firmware update. They highly recommend you do that to fix some like audio crackling issues with it and stuff like that. So I ran that right off the rip. Pretty cool, man. Pop a cartridge in, play. You got headphones, great D-pad, real clicky shoulder buttons. It's a lot of fun. It seems like a cool thing to collect for, and the cartridges are only $20 a piece. So good way to get into that mode again. And I've been on a handheld kick. I bought that Ambernick emulator portable device, but I haven't messed around with that too much. Not enough to talk on. So I'll probably talk about that later on. I started going into the weeds of, I think it runs RetroArch, so I was like messing with a bunch of the filters and things like that, and I ended up breaking, like my PS1 games were split in half. Like I would see the full screen, it would be like Castlevania Symphony of the Night on one half of the screen. I'm like, what the fuck did I do? So I have to go in the settings and start screwing around with like trying to figure out how to split that off, and it ended up being like these weird filters and stuff, but I'll touch on that when I play it some more. Just like putting that new firmware on the Evercade, I've read with that one, there's like a custom firmware you can flash on that Ambernick thing that lets you put like better versions of the emulators than just what comes on the card that they ship you. So that was Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy for Xbox with kids. Super Mario 3D World, wishing I played it without kids. I'm joking, of course. I love my family. It's a good family exercise. I bought an OLED. I have not played anything on it yet. Halo with friends. Never forget to teabag Dale. Evercade Arcade Collections, the new portable that lets you play cartridges. I'm trying to run through this stuff so we don't like lose people. And
fine.
Well, I've noticed some other podcasts doing that, and I'll do that. Like I'm listening to somebody, I'm like 5 minutes into their speech, I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? And I'll have to rewind to figure out what it was that they were saying. And the Ambernick portable console emulator extraordinaire, which I haven't played that much of. Is that it? No Metroid Prime updates. I started Resident Evil 4. That was one of the... I wanted to try the Wii version on the 4x3 non-progressive CRT to just kind of see how it played. Because the GameCube version also is in letterbox. So you're not missing anything by playing letterboxed 4x3 for the Wii version. So if that's a hang-up for you, like it is for me with my weird bullshit, don't let it be. But just from the opening bit of that game where you're in that one room with the dude and he turns on you with the axe and you're having to like line it up with the Wii remote, that game is intense as shit right off the rip. You hear that like pounding, you hear that crazy music, and then you can't go out the door you came in. You have to jump out a window and there's like 3 villagers after you. That game is relentless from the start, and it's atmospheric, and Resident Evil 4 is a classic, man. We bring it up, it seems like every other week. I want to do it on a stream, so that's why we got to beat your Ashley part. It's like my ultimate goal.
I'm a good bit of ways on the PS4 version.
We can pick up from there. Who knows?
I've been fucking around on that and fucking around Resident Evil 6
Siete.
On the side.
Yes, not Siete. You beat Siete last week.
Yes.
Perfect segue to your Resident Evil playthroughs. Go ahead, Cesar. Oh, dear God.
Oh, that was weeks ago, man. The only thing I've been playing is Ease 8. I don't talk about everything I play. We'll be here all day. I finished up Ease 8. Beat that.
How was it?
Nothing really changed.
Yeah.
It was damn good, man. It's probably one of the best games I ever played. The story on there is so fucking good, man. It's at the beginning of that game, they get you like they just kind of feed you nuggets of the story as you go through. Like you're castaways trying to get off this island, and then as you go through the island, then you find out like there's a bigger story to tell. Like I think the last week I talked about, you got to the point where I met Dana,
Lacrimosa
or Donna,
Dana.
and kind of like where she lives into the past. And there's a segments in there where you get these crystals and you kind of interact with her, and you'll mess with certain aspects in the past where you have to alter the landscape for something happens in the future. So like if you get to an area in the present and there's like an island and it's destroyed, she'll print like a spirit tree in the past, and then it'll reconstruct that area for you to explore. Outside of that, as you go through the story, man, after you get used to the gameplay, because nothing really changes much in the gameplay aspect of it since I brought it last time. But then the story wise, you go through and you find out that this great tree is what kind of handles the judgment of life. It was done by the Earth Spirit, and she created it, and it's like a tree of evolution. So you end up meeting these wardens of the past, of the past, and their previous species that were deemed no longer needed for the world. And so whatever happens, it's like this tree basically fosters growth, and then at some point it moves forward. It's like a tree of evolution. It moves forward and it forces the world to evolve. So you have these previous species that kind of like they choose one like alpha out of that species to become a warden and kind of like oversee everything as their species dies out. And the species all are very similar to like Zelda characters. I mean, you have one that was water-based, one that's insect-based, one's like a ox-based, which is like the Goron-based ones, and then you have one that's like a sky-based ones, where as they go through and they watch their society goes down, and you find out that Donna was one for the Etarians. She was a warden for them, and that's why her species died out. And so they chose Adol, the main character of this game, to be the new warden. And so Donna kind of tries to help them out and stops it from happening. Then you go through this whole process where you try to destroy the tree of evolution, and they end up stopping it. And I think Donna ends up giving up her life in exchange, because you find out that the whole world that you've been living in this whole time has been a dream, the dream of the Earth Spirit. And they finally woke her up, and as they woke her up, the world was getting destroyed. And so Donna like sacrificed her life to kind of like rebuild that dream. And so like you later on towards the end of the game, you find out she becomes the goddess of goddess of evolution. She fosters and takes care of that tree, and she helps society evolve. So she decides the next stage of evolution. So that's how the game ends out. It's pretty good, man. The story's damn good, and Donna's a very well written character. I like her a lot, man. I ended up firing up Ease 9, and I'm at the very end of that. Monstrum Nox. On the final chapter, I probably got one more dungeon to go, and I'll beat it probably after we finish recording here. I'm at the very end. That is also a very good game. This one, the difference is this one takes place after. It's kind of muddy when you look at Ease, because you have Ease 8, and then you have Ease 6, Ease 7, and then Ease 9. So 9 takes place after 7. Idol walks into Balduk, which is a Roman prison city, and he gets captured. And you get kind of like these hints, the series kind of follows through. Like in Ease 8, there's some Romans you help on the island castaways, and they kind of warn you like, hey, the Roman government knows about your adventuring lifestyle and all these conquests and all the stuff you've done. You bring a lot of attention, and they kind of like Ease 8 to let them know like, hey, they're looking for you, man. Just letting you know, just be careful. And it all comes down to Ease 9. Ease 9, he gets arrested immediately by the Roman government and is charged. And so they kind of like, it's funny because they kind of like question him like, hey, how come you always come across these artifacts with like these treasures and everything, and you always lose them? It's like every other game, like you built these games where you get the most powerful weapons, and then he loses them to start the next game. So like they have these little things that kind of poke fun at him. So they kind of make fun of him like, oh, you're always on a ship that's shipwrecked somewhere. Like, it's like the commonalities of the series, and they kind of poke fun of it in Ease 9. Like they have somebody like that's asking him like, Yeah, like they're going through the tropes and giving him shit about it. And he's like, I'd never noticed
That's
some
cool.
of his answers. It's like, I didn't know. Does that really happen all the time? So basically, he gets locked in this prison city called Balduke. And as he escapes, he gets turned into a monstrum, which is like a I don't know what the fuck they are. They're kind of like they go into details later on about they're like demigods or something like that. So they have like these abilities, and so they get pulled into these battles, which are kind of like raids, defense,
Tower
like
defense.
those tower defense games. So where you have to protect this pillar, and you have these enemy waves coming at you, and you have to survive. It's something that he did in Ease 8, and they kind of like expanded upon it. And they throw you in this crew with a bunch of different other monstrums that has different abilities. You start off all by himself, and then as you go through the chapters, they get that dedicated chapter for each different monstrum, like the White Cat, the Raging Bull, the Renegade, the Feral Hawk, the Doll. They all have like these code names, and they all have different abilities. And so Ease 8 was the first one where they introduced like you can do these different characters to go through the game. You don't have to play as Otto. You can switch over to Lexia or Sahad or Rakota, and they have their different types of styles of attacks. They're either attack base, pierce base, or more of a power based characters, and they play a little bit differently. This one they kind of expanded upon in Ease 9 a little bit differently. So each character follows that aspect where they have pierce, standard attack, and heavy, but they have different abilities. So like White Cat can run up walls. Adol becomes the Crimson Knight, where he can use a line of sight and he can go to different perches and zoop to them. And you have the Renegade. It turns into a shadow that can go under different doorways and into different crooks and nannies in there. And you have the Raging Bull, which is like a power-based one, which can break walls. And then you have the Doll, which has like a third sight, kind of like it's very similar to like Assassin's Creed, where they have like that glow, the eagle vision, where you can see like stuff that's out of place. That'll show you like, oh, there's a collectible here, or there's a trap door here that you have to open up, or kind of it gives you more of the environment aspect on there. And then the Feral Hawk is kind of like he is. He's like a ability. He gives you the ability to kind of glide through there. So the only difference is like, and I'm going to compare Ease 8 and Ease 9. So Ease 8 was more of you explore more of the whole island, and Ease 9 they kind of compound you to different to a city, and each city has a different sector.
Like a Midgard chapter.
You have to do the. Well, like each sector is like Central District or a prison area. Like the different sectors with different stuff that you can do into it. They block off the sectors by those raids. So you have to like do enough events or quests to get enough Nox points to initiate a raid. And once you beat the raid, you unlock that portion of the city. So it's not as open. It's weird because it kind of evolves. It's not as open and big as the A's 8. But it's pretty open for what it is, because the city has, and each sector has different things where you can collect different treasures or different petals or whatnot in there. They have different collectibles you can do in there. There's not a lot where it's annoying. It's just something that's a part of the series. And so as you go through, they have like a chapter dedicated to each one of the characters. Like you'll get the White Cat, and then the next one up you'll get the Doll. And then you kind of learn their backstories. And as you go through, and you find out that they're all adopted, and they all have some commonalities on there. And then you find out as you go through, there's 2 Addles running around, which was weird at first, because like there's one you control as a Crimson King, and then there's the Addle that's still in the prison, which was confusing for me. I just got to the point where they kind of explained everything. So the whole story about this is like this, and this is funny because like everything he has, another trope in this series is like he always has to deal with gods, and this one's no different. So in this Balduke city, they have what they call the 100 Years' War. Like previously, hundreds of years before that, and it was like their version of what was it? We had one similar. It was like Britain against somebody else, like France, right? It was something similar. They had that kind of that kind of situation. Was like it was against another. Yeah, this is what they call it, the 100 Years' War, also. And so you have the 100 Years' War, which is like their version of Britain, their version of France, that's kind of fighting it out for 100 years. So you have these gods, and they call the Norse mythology kind of like Norse. Because they have one that's similar like Loki's, like Loki, and then there's like I forgot what their other god was, and these 2 guys chose a side and they kind of fought against each other. So apparently they have these monstrum powers. The monstrum powers were used to fight these raids, and the gods were the ones that handled the raids originally, them and the demigods. And the raids were, these monsters were being created from negative emotions from human beings that have like greed, any of the negative stuff from human beings. These monsters appeared, and the gods kind of regulated. The 100 Days War ended up killing off those gods. The gods ended up killing each other. So they end up using humans as substitute. So as you go through, you find out that these group of monstroms you've been working with are actually all homunculi, which were like clones. They were created with alchemy, so they were perfect copies of their bodies and souls. So apparently, this is a throwback to the first Ys game where you fought an alchemist. This guy, I think, is Zodiac. He's the one who he originally started. He was in that war. He's been taking his soul and transferring it to a new body every generation, and he's been trying to recreate this.
I've been thinking about
Saint
doing that.
Rosvita,
What were the steps
which was
he followed? Do you remember? Does it detail that?
They didn't go into great detail.
So close.
Yeah, and. So he was trying to recreate Rosvita, which was a girl he was in love with at the time. She was sacrificed after that 100 Years' War, and she was burned at the stake.
Never mind.
So apparently, he takes a genetic material and reclones them. So the original clones from the monstroms were the original heroes from the 100 Years' War. He's just been recloning them the whole time and forcing them to fight in that race system. So they all find out about that, and they just been clones this whole time.
Did they freak out like
as they go through? No, they took it pretty well, believe it or not, for what it is. So I mean, they had no choice, and it was beyond their control. So as you go through now, you're trying to figure out what he calls his master plan. So I don't know what his master plan is. So I don't know what the fuck he's trying to do all this for. But there's a lot of throwbacks to the original Ys games, like scattered throughout the series. I mean, you can collect the flower petals and give it to a girl, not Eric, who's looking for luck.
I'm like, what game are you comparing here?
And she kind of like embodies past female characters that Otto's interacted with from the other Ys games, and she'll kind of like, oh, remember, I always will keep my eye on you, blah blah blah, and I remember when you helped me out with this, and it's like she's like, I don't know what I'm talking about. So there's a lot of stuff they paid through the history of Ys in that series. So I'll finish it up today, man. It's pretty fucking good. I do like the variety in it. I don't know, they've done a good job of keeping it fresh for me. And I think with the 35th anniversary of Ys is next year. And so I know the guy who created the series, he's also, the guy that's the head of the series is also the head of the Legend of Heroes series right now, the Trails series. He's doing both. He wrote the script for Ys 8. That's probably why I like it so much. He doesn't know what he's going to do with Ys 10. There are theories that we're going to get an Ys 5 remake, which is the only Ys game we haven't got. That was stuck to the Super Nintendo PS2 in Japan.
Maybe they'll do more for it than Nintendo did to acknowledge Zelda's 35th anniversary, so...
We'll see. Yeah, because he said, I think the way he hinted at Ys 10, when he does make an Ys 10, is going to be something completely different. Because that's my only complaint about this game is that it uses the same engine as 8, so it does look dated. You can look at it, and you can, if I told you I was playing that on the PS4, you'd probably say, are you sure that looks like a PS2, late PS2, early PS3 game? It does have some jagged edges. I mean, it does have some anti-analyzing issues. It is showing its age engine on there. But I think it's modeled after the Legend of Heroes engine. They all use the same engine. I think the new Trails game coming out this year has a new engine. So I imagine whatever Ys game they make will use that new engine, depending on how good that one looks. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty fucking good. I think I'm at the very end of it. So I like I said, I like the variety and I don't know, man. I might fuck around and fire up some other Ys games. I mean, I'm still in my Nihon Falcom story arc. I guess that still happened. I haven't gotten to any further episodes yet.
I have Ys book 1 and 2 that you can pop into your Polymega.
You could. I'm looking at my PSP games, and that's something I did notice. Was this one where I have Ys 2, and then Ys the Oath of Felghana. And I just noticed it the other day when I was looking at it. And if you line up the spines, they fucking match between the two games. So, because the Oath of Felghana is actually Ys 3.
I love when Nintendo Power used to do that with their spines.
Because on the PSP, you also have Ys 7. Then you have Ys 8 on the Vita, and then of course you have Ys 6 also on the PSP. The only one we didn't get a digital version of, so that's also on PS2. Yeah, this one has to deal with the weather machine. They talked about that in Ys 9. It was like, and you fought a machine that controls the weather. So I was like that whole thing when he goes to the prison, they just go down the list of all the shit he did in all the games, and like,
guilty.
Like, you did this, you did that, and he's like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. It's like that stuff happened. Because it always has to do with some god or something like that or something. I think the best bit on there was Dogi, which is a character he travels around with all the games. Dogi the Wall Crusher. I think the only one he hasn't done is Ease 5, which is the one I have for PS4, which is also on Vita, which is the Salsetta one. He made a joke on there where I think when they were in Ease 3, I fired up Ease 3 on the Steam just to see what it looked like. And it was funny, at the very beginning of the game, I think he run into his childhood like friend who happens to be a girl, and he's like, "Oh, she really grew up." He says, "What am I talking about? She's gonna fall for you like every other girl does." He just straight broke the fourth wall. It's like, I don't even know why I'm getting my hopes up, so I'm just gonna not even worry about it. So it's like that's like another trope in that series. Like whatever the main heroine in that series always falls in love with Adam, and he's like, "Peace, I'm on to my next adventure. I'll never see you again."
He's a James Bond that actually acknowledges it.
Well, I mean, he doesn't even do anything with the girls. They always confess to him. He's always like clueless. He doesn't know what to say, or he always reads a situation wrong. So he's like every other main male character in every other Falcom game. They're all like that, where they're all like 85 girls are on him, and they have no idea. They're just like, oh yeah, and everybody's giving him shit. So they're like, oh yeah, because like the main character in this the main girl in this game is also falling for him, and he's like, I gotta go on my next adventure.
I only love my sword. All right, so that was Ys 8 and Ys 9.
That's it for me. Yeah, I'll finish that. I'll finish that probably tonight, depending if we get done with this shortly.
All right, Brant, bring us home.
All right. Like I had mentioned earlier, we're still playing Super Mario 3D. Found the bubbles, which kind of helps sometimes. I still don't understand sometimes the route the camera chooses to take, choosing which character to follow. Sometimes it follows the one that is getting up farther
I thought it was player one
on the level, and then sometimes you'll
not. Nope.
It's not, and then sometimes you'll have somebody that falls down. All of a sudden, the camera just decides to follow them, and then if you're up high, then all of a sudden you're in that bubble and it's taking you down. And if that player that fell all the way down dies, then you're screwed.
God bless Mario 3D World.
So that's fun when stuff like that happens. We got to the ending area where like Bowser's big castle is. I'm trying to remember if that's like area 6 or 7 or something like that. We got, I want to say like 2 or 3 levels in, and we just got on a level that was just nothing but straight bullshit. And I was like, okay, we're done here. Like, we're taking a break. Yeah, we'll come back to this later. And me and my son just went into Bowser's Fury. We're still having a lot of fun with that. You got to try that.
I heard it was cool.
It's great. It's great. Like just going around collecting the cat shines, because every lighthouse has like, I think it's like 5 different holes that represent all the cat shines you can get for that specific area around that lighthouse, and each area I think has about 3 different lighthouses that you can get. So the first area is kind of like beachy. The second area that I got to was kind of like iced theme. And we're still going through. It's still just this whole great experience of exploration, trying to figure out where there's certain blocks that only Bowser can break when he's going crazy and raging. They're called Fury blocks. So I mean, you're walking around, you're seeing those, and as soon as Bowser appears, my son's like, we got to go back to those blocks. We got to go back, because as soon as you break those blocks, you'll get a shine. So we're running, dodging his attacks, giant fireballs,
that's awesome,
fire blasts and stuff falling from the sky. And then, of course, once you get enough cat shines, you can ring the giant bell and just go kick Bowser's ass and jump on him. So we're still having a lot of fun with that. And I won't say we're like trying to be completionists about it, but we are trying to like fill up all those little spots on the lighthouses that
Right.
for all the cat shines. I know we did it for the first area. And there's so many cool details in that game. It's just you got to try
Bowser's
it.
Fury.
Other than that, I played. I booted back up Bloodstain, Ritual of the Night,
Brant's back on his bullshit.
and
Brant's bloodstained bullshit.
and booted up classic mode. This is 100% classic Castlevania.
Okay.
I mean, literally, you go into classic mode, you boot it up, and it is that first level is basically 1-to-1 recreation of
nice.
The first level of original Castlevania on NES. I mean, you have Miriam.
Brant, did we lose you?
I thought it was just a pause for dramatic
Wait
effect.
for it, Marion.
Wait for it.
Don't
Wait
look at it,
for
Marion.
Oh man!
Last thing we heard was Marion. Don't look at it.
We thought you were confessing your love. I was like, oh man.
My back.
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
You're here, sir.
You were talking about how much you
Son
love
of a
Miriam.
bitch.
Yeah.
Continue
But
your
anyway.
tale of woe with Marion.
But she's standing there and she's looking at the castle.
Marion.
She does the little whip motion and then she walks in, and I mean it's she has a little bit of a different moveset. It's still like the kind of like the standard like Castlevania jump. She does the whip motion. She also has a slide, and if you tap jump twice, she does a backflip. So there's a little bit more of range of motion doing this, but it's classic Castlevania style, just set up side scrolling. I mean, you have like the little 2D stairs and stuff you can go up, and all the music is 8-bit style, and it's so good. And I mean, you go through the first stage, and it basically does mirror the first stage in Castlevania 1. There's something like that when you die. It's not but it's close.
It's like the Vanilla Ice version. No, ours is
they are
Then you're hanging
they are
off the balcony.
They are towing the line of infringement on that Konami property.
Who's gonna come after them?
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, here's a license we don't do anything with. Stop it.
I know.
Yeah.
And of course, the first boss is even a bat, just like the original Castlevania. It's good.
Spam his ass with the axe.
And after you go through that, it even goes to the stage showing the map of the castle, and Miriam, she comes and walks across. So I mean, it is classic Castlevania.
Sweet.
At its best. Of course, that still comes with some of the classic Castlevania bullshit. Because you even get in this game, of course, they're not Medusa heads, but you get the shit flying across and the little bats and stuff coming. And you can pick your difficulty: easy, medium, hard, and then
So no medium, no hard.
because on my first playthrough, I went through and I got, gosh, there were like 2 more levels to go up, but I got to this level that was like a clock tower, and I was like, I'm never getting to the top of this fucking clock tower. It was such a pain.
Different game series, Brant.
And but I went ahead and I tried a different mode, because there is one more mode. If you go into classic mode and you're on the screen before you start game, if you put in the Konami code, you unlock 1986 mode, which
best year.
Just debatable.
it ups the difficulty. So it's another form of difficulty, as well as it takes away that slide and that backflip. She jumps stiffer. When you're going up or downstairs, you can't jump.
It's like putting like Mega Man 1 mechanics on like Mega Man 4. Yeah.
It straight puts it in
like
that old
like
Castlevania
that.
style. So I went through and I think I did like the first like 3 levels on that before I was like, okay, it's a bit too much on that
Is
same level.
is this what we got added to Bloodstain instead of the promised? Was Bloodstain the game I'm thinking of where we were promised like a boss rush or something else, and then we ended up just getting like maybe it was these two modes instead? Am I
Yeah, I
thinking of the
believe
right
so.
game?
They've got something else, and I know they're still planning on adding even more. But this, I mean, they keep, even though it's taken them a
Yeah.
while, they keep adding shit to this
I
game.
mean, you're playing it. I'm not gonna knock it, but it almost seems like ukulele or not ukulele, Shovel Knight. Like, okay, let's go on to something new now. But
Yeah,
I mean, they keep adding to it, and you're enjoying it. So hey, let's go.
yeah. I
Hey
mean,
man,
they
get your money's
added,
worth.
Yeah.
yeah, they did add the classic mode. They've added a couple different characters that you can play through the game as, and um, I played through the whole game. What was it, last year?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was.
You talked about
And
it
I
on
mean,
here.
I enjoyed it. I mean, I think it it's similar to Symphony of the Night, but I mean, in some ways, it tries too hard to add a bunch of new mechanics in a few respects. But all in all, it is a pretty good game. Of course, after they patched the hell out of it and fixed it,
Right.
because I know that when that game originally came out, it was a mess.
It's not the only
Um,
one, so it's fine.
yeah. And then other than that, I finally started Resident Evil 7.
Oh.
Jeez, that game is so damn intense. Uh,
God bless Resident Evil.
oh, because I know the last time of course, I tried it with VR, and I got like into the house and was walking around the kitchen and trying to walk down the hallways and stuff, and I was just like, I was just pouring sweat and shit. And I'm like, oh,
It broke all of
this
us.
is not. This is not gonna work. This is not
It's
gonna
more
work. And
it's more sweat versus going in a sauna. You'd be all right.
yeah, and
Body by Resident Evil
it
7.
it turned me off the game for a while. I was just like, I don't know. Oh, I can't. But I went ahead.
It did that to all of us. I didn't.
Yeah, it was every
fire up
single-
until,
it was all three
we're
of us
coming out with
on
8. Yeah,
Yeah.
Eight's
Well,
coming out. Like, oh, I guess I should go through this now.
I booted it up. I think I'm a little bit more than an hour in. Came in, found the lost girlfriend, went through the basement,
Lost City of Atlantis. I was hoping.
walking around with her as she's having her crazy manic, like Jekyll Hyde episodes. All that shit's going on, and then woke up to dinner with the family. Got to meet them and creepy grandma. She's just like in her wheelchair, not saying anything, but her head follows you around the room. And then I made it to the laundry room, which
Probably
is
wash
like,
your clothes.
yeah, wash the clothes. There's a bunch of stinky socks in there.
Yeah.
And
Wash the
then
delicates, hang the delicates, then put them in the drawer.
saw the what was he was the officer that was outside the window and told me to meet him at the garage, and just went through the garage scene. That was fun, and did all that, and because that was something else. And I'm still not. I'm pretty sure that character is gonna come back at some point, because I mean it's Resident Evil. And then made it into the main part of the house. Saw the shotgun that you were talking about a couple weeks back when you were doing your
Indiana Jones
playthrough.
style.
Yeah, lift the shotgun up, the door closes behind. I'm like, oh well, yeah. Well,
Place the
gonna have
shotgun back in there.
Yep. Gonna have to find out how to do this, and that's basically where I am right now. I've just barely getting into it, but I mean I was playing it with headphones and everything, but I mean it was I don't know if I'm gonna continue to play it with headphones. It becomes way too real. But this game has it in spades, man. You were talking about RE4, how it's intense
Atmosphere.
and like it just keeps coming at you. This game, like it has that straight horror atmosphere tweaked so well because it's so isolating, and then all of a sudden, like you know something's gonna come. You don't know when, you don't know around what corner you're gonna turn, and one of these crazy people is gonna be right there. But I'm loving it so far. And yeah, that's been it for this week.
That was what all did you play, Brant?
Bowser's Fury, Bloodstained Classic Mode, and Resident Evil 7.
The non VR.
You forgot you got the World 6 and Mario 3D World before you were like, all right, I need to do something else.
Before you tapped out as a family unit.
Oh, we got to that level that you posted that clip on. I was like, okay, watch that fucker over there with that boomerang. It's like he will kill all of us. I've seen it happen.
I showed that clip to my coworker at work. He's like, I would have thrown the console on the ground, never played it again. It's like I haven't played it since. So I was like, after that, I was like, nope.
Spiked it to the ground and given up.
I said I haven't. After that, I was like, okay, I've had my fill. I haven't touched the game since. So.
All right, where are we at? That's 2 hours. Recording is at 1 hour 48 minutes. We made it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us once again. 1 hour 48 for the 148th episode of the NOFODcast. Thank you again for joining us this week, and we'll catch you next week. Bye.
Adios.
See you.
We got that Cesar sign.